NFL Insider predicts Eagles tush push will be banned. All right. Now, listen here, folks. We need to talk about something that's been buzzing around the NFL lately. The Eagles' infamous tush push. We've all seen it. We've all witnessed it. And we've all been left scratching our heads, wondering if this move is going to be the next thing to get banned. Nick Ferrier over at ESPN Sports predicted that this play might just be outlawed soon. And let me tell you, I've got thoughts. Big time thoughts. For those of you who haven't been watching closely, or for those who just aren't quite sure what we're talking about, let me break it down for you. The tush push is a quarterback sneak play where the QB, in this case Jalen Hurts, is pushed from behind by his teammates, usually by his center or a running back, to gain a few crucial inches. It's as straightforward as it sounds. The offensive line gets a good push, the quarterback leans forward, and with a little extra help from his friends, they move the chains. Now don't get it twisted. This is not your average quarterback sneak. You see in the past, when a quarterback tried to dive forward on a sneak, it was generally a one-man job. The QB would take the snap, duck his head, and hope his offensive line could clear a path. If the defense stood strong, well, that was usually the end of that. But the Eagles' version of the quarterback sneak has become something of a spectacle. Hurts doesn't just run into the pile and hope for the best. No, sir. He gets a little help, usually from a teammate, or sometimes a whole bunch of them. The offensive line is pushing him from behind, creating a wave of momentum that helps them consistently convert on 3rd and short or 4th and 1 situation. And, to be honest, it's been downright unstoppable. And that's why I'm here today to discuss whether this play will be the next one that gets a red flag from the NFL. The rise of the tush push. Let's take a trip back and look at how the tush push came to be. This isn't some play that just popped up out of nowhere. It's a product of a combination of factors: good coaching, a strong offensive line, and a quarterback with the power and drive to push through defenders. What makes it even more effective is Hurts' skill set. He's a tough, powerful quarterback who doesn't shy away from contact. When you combine that with the athleticism of players like Jason Kelce, one of the league's best centers, who has the strength to push and lead from the front, you've got a combination that's hard to stop. But it didn't happen overnight. The Eagles have been building this play up for years, and it's been paying off big time. But what's fascinating here, and what I think is sparking the conversation, is how effective it has been. The numbers don't lie. Over the last few seasons, the Eagles have been near perfect on 3rd and 4th downs when running this play. We're talking about a near 100% conversion rate. That's ridiculous. It's the kind of play that's so effective that you just can't help but think, is the NFL going to allow this to continue? Why are they talking about banning the tush push? So now, let's dive into why this play is suddenly being questioned by the powers that be in the NFL. First off, I gotta say, this is all about fairness. Every team in the league wants to compete, right? But when you've got a play that's so consistent, so hard to stop, it starts to feel like there's an unfair advantage. And you know what happens when one team gets a little too good at something? People start to talk about changes. The tush push has raised a few eyebrows because it's a play that seems to defy traditional football principles. For years, quarterback sneaks have been a relatively rare and risky part of the game. But this Eagles version? It's been so successful that even teams like the Patriots, the 49ers, and the Chiefs have started paying attention to how they can implement similar tactics. The concern from some is that if this play is allowed to continue, it's going to shift the balance of power. We all know that the NFL is all about innovation, but with innovation comes questions of fairness. Is it really fair that one team, because of their personnel and scheme, has found a play that just can't be stopped? Is that something the league wants to encourage, or will they put their foot down and say, enough is enough? Is enough? Is the tush push unstoppable? Let's be real here, folks. The tush push is a powerful, almost unstoppable play. When executed correctly, it's nearly impossible to stop. We've seen defenses try everything. They stack the line, they overload one side, they try to get the jump on the snap. But still, it's been successful almost every time the Eagles have needed it. So, what's the secret sauce? Well, there's a couple of factors at play here. First, Hurts is a tank. The dude is built like a running back. He's got the legs to power through contact, and that lower body strength makes him hard to bring down. Second, the offensive line, particularly Kelsey's, is elite. They get that push, and they create a pile that no defense seems able to stop. But here's the thing, defenses have to adjust, and that's the challenge. If you can't stop the push with just your defensive line, you've got to find creative ways to defend it. Some teams have tried to cheat the system, getting too many guys behind the QB, or trying to push from the back themselves, but the NFL has rules about that. You can't push the quarterback from behind, unless you're the Eagles apparently. But I'll tell you this, defensive coordinators are already looking at ways to counter the tush push. They'll find an answer sooner or later. And when they do, we might not be talking about the tush push for much longer. But for now, it's dominating, and the Eagles are making it look easy. The impact of banning the tush push now. Let's play out the scenario where the NFL decides to step in and ban the tush push. What would that mean for the Eagles and the NFL at large? For starters, it would take away one of their most reliable plays. The Eagles rely on the tush push in short yardage situations, and without it, they'd need to come up with a new strategy. This could make them less predictable and a little less lethal. But here's where things get interesting. If the NFL bans the play, does that mean they'll start looking at other plays that are too effective? What happens if teams start finding new ways to exploit the rules, and then those get banned too? It could lead to a slippery slope, where coaches and players are constantly trying to push the envelope, only for the league to step in and shut them down. But I also think it's important to consider that banning the tush push could set a dangerous precedent. The NFL is a league that thrives on innovation, and taking away a play because it's too effective is a dangerous precedent to set. After all, the NFL is a league that prides itself on creativity. If we're going to ban the tush push just because it's working too well for one team, we might end up stifling the kind of creativity that makes the NFL so entertaining. Bottom line, listen, I'm all for fairness in the game. I'm all for leveling the playing field. But at the same time, the NFL has always been a league that embraces change. Teams innovate, they experiment, and they find new ways to win. All right, Ryan, the Eagles' tush push is just the latest example of that. It's a testament to the game's evolution and to the genius of Nick Sirianni and the Eagles' offensive line. Sure, there's a chance the NFL might step in and ban it, but I think that's going to be a tough sell. The Eagles have been running this play for years, and it's a part of their identity.